Offenders are to be released early to avert a UK prison crisis. We're going to read into this more from the Financial Times, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from the Financial Times with the headline, "The offenders are to be released early to avert UK prison crisis." Labour are to shorten automatic release points for some prisoners from 50 to 40% of their sentences. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. So this has been mainly some of the topic that's been going around for the past couple of days now in the run-up towards the King's speech. And that is one of the prison crisis that we are in. We are reaching a breaking point with our entire criminal justice system, and that is because our prisons are nearly full, and there needs to be emergency issues basically needs to be dealt with as soon as possible to deal with this crisis. And one of those ways is releasing offenders early. Now I know how a lot of people feel about. That feels that it's wrong, it's not right to let out prisoners early. They should be serving their full sentence. And I totally understand that, but the reality is that the Conservatives have not built enough prisons. They have allowed our prison systems to be worse off. They've cut funding they've put it into the hands of private sectors, which has not helped. They've also done cuts to the probation service as well. Cutting the probation service, which has made it even harder for offenders to have their cases and whatnot. So there are so many issues surrounding our prison systems, and I've covered in the past about the crisis that they were in, and the Conservative government kind of just sat on their hands and just ignored everything, didn't even give a peep in it. But Labour are very fully aware, and they do want to tackle this, and they have appointed some very good people in very good prisons minister that I believe will help make a difference. But like everything here, because of our broken Britain, in order for Labour to show that they're going to make a difference, they have to show it with action and not with words. And the problem is that there are many people who, understandably, like myself, who are sceptical of Labour, have no patience. They're not willing to have patience, and they expect Labour to literally wave a magic wand and expect everything to be perfect, and that's just not the reality of it. The reality is things are going to take time, and we are in a much better place we're going to be in a much better place under a Labour government than we was in the Conservatives. I generally believe that. Is it going to be absolutely perfect? Hell no. There's going to be problems. There's things about the Conservatives that about Labour that I'm not happy about. Like literally, I've done a video recently about the two-child benefit cap that is still up, as for a prime example of how I feel about Labour on certain topics and issues. But this one here, guys, we've got to get the probation system sorted, and we've got to get some prisoners out. We do have to get some prisoners out. We have some who are in prison for very minor offences, unnecessary offences, and some that, like, there are those, obviously, for example, protesting, get them on community service, waste of time putting them in prison, for example. Certain drug related issues, I think, again, it depends on the drugs, how long they've been doing it. Can we not put some of these on? Do we need drug related people in prisons? Can we not put them on community service? Again, there's another way we can reduce sentencing there. Now, obviously, theft is another one. What can we do? Should we be letting thieves out early? I don't think they're robbers, household robbers, probably not. Obviously, those of violent criminals, of offenders or people who have assaulted people, or rapists, murderers, those, obviously, no, we don't want them out early, obviously, understandably. But maybe even those who have been accused of certain tax affairs or tax dodging, maybe, not talking about politicians, but maybe one or two of these, maybe they could spend a lifetime in community service as well. There is some crimes where we can look at and say, you know what, do we really need these people in prison? You know what, if they've done more than a certain amount of time, do we really need this person in prison? Can we not get them doing community service instead? There's a lot of that questions that can be put down. Looking at these case-by-case basis of each individual, can we not get some of these people out to help alleviate some of the situation that we have right now? Now, one thing that nobody wants is a new prison built in their backyard. I know we already have lots of people saying, I don't want new homes in my beautiful green field behind me. Not in my backyard. I want new homes. Well, we also have a prison issue where I do think we do need to seriously consider building new prisons. It's a question of where we build them. I had this silly idea that maybe they should just build them in a bunker underground or something, but that seems quite cruel. Maybe even build one out. Maybe even build one out in the sea. But again, I can already see people screaming in the comments. But Reagan, where's the money gonna come from? We don't have a magic money tree. Yes, I'm fully aware of that. Just throwing some ideas out there, guys. Just throwing some ideas out there. If you have some ideas of where prisons should be built, if you have suggestions of where you think, if some possible places where it should be built, let me know in the comments down below. Obviously, it is a crisis that needs to be dealt with as soon as possible. But let's read what the Financial Times has had to say. So, the new Labour government will shorten the automatic release point for some prisoners from 50 to 40% of their sentence as part of measures to avert a full-blown crisis in prisons in England and Wales. Shabana Mahmood, the Justice Secretary, said on Friday the policy would come into effect from September and would be reviewed after 18 months. She said the measures were necessary to prevent paralysis in the criminal justice system, and without them, prisons would run out of places, leaving the police unable to arrest dangerous criminals. Our prisons on the point of collapse, Mahmood said in her first major speech since delivered at the 5 Wales prisons in Wellingborough. She blamed the capacity crisis on the Conservative government ousted last week. When prisons are full, violence rises, putting prison officers on the front line at risk. When no cells are available, suspects cannot be held in custody. This means vanloads of dangerous people circling the country with nowhere to go, she said. Outlining the measures Labour is taking to ease overcrowding, she said the government would temporarily reduce the probation of some custodial sentences from 50 to 40%, and she insisted those released would be managed safely. Offenders sentenced to 4 years or more for serious violent offenders will be automatically excluded, along with prisoners convicted of sex offenders and domestic violent linked crimes. This includes stalking offences and non-fatal strangulation or suffocation or controlled or cohesive behaviour in an initial or family relationship. That's totally good. So that's good. So that's very important to highlight there. Anyone released will be strictly monitored by the probation service, including with electronic tagging and curfews, and recalled to prison if they breach their licence condition, Mahmood has said. Recognising the additional strains in the early release of prisons will place on the probation service, Mahmood added the government plans to recruit an extra 1,000 extra trainee probation officers by March 2025. The new measures bring close to the end of custody supervised licence scheme, in which the former Conservative government initiated last October when the prison system came within a few hundred places of full capacity. The Conservatives released 10,000 prisoners earlier than expected under the scheme between October 17th and June the 30th this year, according to figures published by the Ministry of Justice early on Friday. The ECSL scheme enabled certain prisoners to be released a maximum of 18 days prior to their release date. This expanded to 35 days in March and 70 days from May onwards. Labour's more drastic intervention, which had been recommended by the Prisons Government Association and some charities, is designed to buy time for the government to build an effective buffer for reform. Pina Singhma, Chief Executive of the Prison Reform Trust charity, welcomed the emergency measures, saying that they should prevent the criminal justice system initially grinding to a halt. Reducing the automatic release point for prisoners serving determined sentences is the most straightforward and comprehensive way to reduce demand, given our prison's vital breathing space, she said. Shahina added that the probation service would require sufficient resources to cope with supervising an increased number of people on licence in the community. So obviously there is some positive feedback there on what Shabina's plans are there, but it is only a small step, guys. It is a small step in the right direction. There is a lot of work to do. A lot of it is not just a case of just throwing money at the issue. It's a lot of case We'll be looking at it very much deep within, looking at these things of what can, not always a case of just throwing money, but where fundamental changes can be made. Policies within the systems can be changed to better enable prisoners, better protect our prison guards, the prisons themselves. Like, there's lots of small little details and things that need to be changed for the benefit, and it's going to take time. Like I said, it's going to take time, and I really hope that she and those working within the prison, those that work in cooperation with the government, that can make a difference and crack down on this and hopefully get this under control. It's going to, like I said, it is going to take time, and it's easy to be judgmental, especially when they haven't even been it haven't even been 14 days yet at the time of this recording. So, you know, let's and I say 14 days because people have been criticizing them when Conservatives have been in power for 14 years, and people weren't very critical of them until they got ousted. So it's a start, but let's hope there's more down the road to come for the benefit of our criminal justice system. But what do you guys think of this idea? What do you guys make of the situation that they may be releasing certain offenders early, depending on what their crimes are? Are you in agreement? Obviously, they're going to be increasing staff for the probation service, which obviously would be a step in the right direction and help reduce the load. Let me know your thoughts and more, and potentially ideas for where, if they decide to build new prisons, where they should be. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts and feedback. If you found this video interesting, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video, and subscribe because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, financially support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching. Hope to catch you all very, very soon.